Well, folks, I appreciate you joining me here today on Deep River Farm. A little chilly here this morning. Got a lot of weather moving in along the coast. They've had those king tides. I think they've lost some more houses out into the Atlantic, out there around Buxton, Cape Hatteras area. A lot of people's been saying, well, they should have never built that close to the water. Well, folks, when those houses were built in the 70s, they were 300 yards away from the water. The sands have shifted. The island that they're on out there, that's all Outer Banks is, an island, and things is shifting, and everything's being lost on that end of that north side, I guess you'd say, or west side, depending on how you look at it. So those locations are just taking a battering ram, so to speak, and they getting hammered, and they've been declared as, not livable. And a lot of the insurance companies, I'm sure, without a shadow of a doubt, after seeing what's happened in Western North Carolina, that they are no longer going to insure these places, so they're probably a total loss. I'm not sure. That'd be something we'd have to look into. But anyway, I just wanted to touch base with you. It was 46 here this morning, real chilly, and fall's in the air. The leaves are starting to turn here, and I'm gonna say the peak will be in a week or two, but they are turning. And some of the trees that have been, I guess you'd say, kind of stressed, some of them are already losing their leaves without even turning. Getting some of the goats fed this morning, getting them all squared away. That way, before it rains, we may get some rain this evening, not sure, but we wanted to get them squared away before it rained, get the chickens fed. They like their wheat and they don't need it wet, so we're taking care of that and getting it all done. Well, folks, we're getting word that they're going to start another search up along the North Toe River, right out there by Whitson's store. If you've been following myself and Brother Bud, you have seen Whitson's store in some of our videos where we've been delivering relief center items, propane, that type of thing. There's 2 or 3 people still missing, that's unaccounted for out there in Yancey County. And they think they're in one of the largest debris fields that has never been looked at, never been searched, along the North Toe River out there near Whitson's store. Now, they have said that they have found this one gentleman's fiddle and some of his clothing out there, but that area has never been searched. Can you imagine, folks, how in the world are we a year in and there's this biggest debris field yet to be looked at? There is a family from Ukraine that was in an RV park. The grandmother and the grandson are still missing, as well as another fella. So they're going to bring in a helicopter. They say there is a stack of RVs in this debris field. Now, what they mean by a stack, I'm not sure. I don't know if that means there's several of them in there, but they say they're going to bring in a helicopter and try to chain these things and hoist them out of the debris field. They're going to bring in divers, I'm understanding, and see if they can locate anything in the river there. I don't know why this hasn't already been done with all the search teams and things that had come in early on. Why is it this area has yet to be touched? And this is what we've been saying all along, folks. The back areas outside of the metropolitan areas are completely forgotten. Now, I realize they were search teams that went up and down through there and found people, but why is it that it's a known place, a known major debris field, and nobody has come in there and searched it? There's a very good possibility that these 3 folks are buried amongst those RVs. I've seen this debris pile, and Bud and myself both have talked. Well, wonder what is in that. Have they searched it? Doesn't look like it's ever been touched. That's what we've said. And now we're finding out that that is, in fact, never been touched. So they're going to go through that, and don't know why they've waited this long. But hopefully they will recover these people that are still missing so that these families can put a closure to what's happened. But that family from Ukraine that came over, they was fleeing the war and came over here and was living in the RV park when it was swept away. So we know there's 2 of those still missing, and then this fella named Lee that was a fiddle player up there. And they have recovered his fiddle, like I said, and some clothing and other things that belong to him. So there's, according to people around Whitson's store, they're saying that it's all likelihood that he could be in that debris. It's a sad situation, folks. So, folks, a little bit more information on the family, the Ukrainian family. A mother, father, their son, and the grandmother came from war-torn Ukraine and was living in the RV park. They had come over here and fled. Evidently there was some family nearby, and that's how they wound up in Yancey County. The father and the mother's bodies have been recovered. That entire family was lost in Hurricane Helene. But the grandmother and the 13-year-old boy have yet to be recovered, along with a local whose name is Lenny, who was a well-known person in the community, played the fiddle, well-liked, and this is all in the Green Mountain area. That's where Whitson's store is located. So that's about all we know. They did say they was going to be bringing a Black Hawk helicopter in with the dive team. The dive team was going to be rigging up these RVs. There's must be several of them in the river. They're going to try to hoist these with the Black Hawk. So they're going to chain them and rig them and try to pull them up out of the river with a helicopter. So that's about all we know. There's 2 big old debris fields. One's on private land. The other one is known as the North Toe Island, but neither debris field has been searched. We're 13 months, folks, almost, since Helene hit. We're very close to 13 months. Just about 10 days or so, maybe 14. Yeah, about 14 maybe. Anyway, these 2 locations have never been searched. Can you imagine? Why has it been taking this long? The locals are believing that these folks are in there. It's a known thing. And they're finally going to search it. I don't know if there was a logistics problem or if they were just waiting to see if they were found before they had to enter the debris field, or what the problem is. But that's where it stands. That's the information. They're also reporting this on News 13, and I don't know what the schedule is going to be for this Black Hawk. I guess we'd have to find that out from possibly out at Whitson's store, from Rick Whitson maybe. So maybe we can get that information from him. I'm sure they will know when this is going to take place, so they can kind of direct them, because they have found, like I said, the fiddle, some other articles that belong to the fella that plays the fiddle, Lenny, and but those RVs that are stacked up came from and are there from that RV park. So that's why they're highly likely to find that grandmother and the 13-year-old boy in the debris field, and very highly likely they're believing, the locals are, that Lenny is also in that debris field. So it's like we said, folks, it's a bad situation up there. A lot of locations are just like day one after the hurricane. So folks, we've talked about in the past that the metropolitan areas, you know, you go into those areas that was hit by the flood, and a lot of that stuff's been repaired and back to business as usual. But the back hollers, the branch roads, those back areas in the mountains, completely forgotten. No help whatsoever has come in other than the churches and nonprofits to help these folks. That's where Appalachian Reclamation Coalition, the Bethel Wesleyan Church, Appalachian Navy, Chris Wataka Ministries, just all the nonprofits, folks. You know, we're in there helping these folks in areas where nobody else has been. And a lot of these sites and these areas are like day one. Brother Bud reported here a while back on the Big Hungry area down there, where a gentleman's house is still completely full of sand all the way up to the top of the kitchen counters. He was not in the area when the storm hit and was told his house was gone. And he's come back to find, nearly a year later, he'd been living in Georgia, and comes back and pretty much cuts his way into his home and finds that it's still there, but it's full of mud and sand and everything. And has had it looked at, and it's going to cost him roughly $500,000 to fix it, to get it cleaned out and fixed. And he's an elderly gentleman. His wife has passed, and has basically no family in Western North Carolina to help. And these situations are all over the place in the mountains, and that's why we continue to help. And we're working right now on family number 15. If you want to find out who family 15 is, watch the video, Family Found in a Shed, and that'll tell you about family 15. And we're going to help that family get reestablished into a home. They went from nothing to a shed to an RV, and in the process now of trying to get a house started for them. But if you're wanting to help put these families back into homes, you can contact the Central Global Methodist Church out of Asheboro, North Carolina. They're running the Helping Hands program. And so far, they've helped put 14 families back in their homes. And they're working with Family 15. The Bethel Wesleyan Church is involved heavily in providing propane to those in need in western North Carolina. The Midway Wesleyan Church that started Operation Mountain Relief is working heavily to help in any kind of emergency situation. They're providing necessary funds for food or propane or whatever's needed. And that's what's going on. So if you're interested in helping folks, we're going to have a phone number where you can get in touch with us, come up on the screen, and you can help us provide for the families in western North Carolina. I'm trying to drive back from my wife's uncle's. He's Mr. Project Santa, if you remember the Project Santa that went on last year up in the mountains to make sure that the children that survived Hurricane Helene would have stuff for Christmas. And they got all sorts of things, blue jeans and toys and different things to help the children cope with what happened. And but we had about, I think it was, there was several thousands of pairs of Wrangler jeans provided up there through the Project Santa organization. But folks, continue to pray for western North Carolina. We've got this getting ready to take place where they're going to try to find these 3 bodies finally. And I just don't understand why that hadn't been searched. I don't know if it's an access problem with equipment or just what the deal is, but I guess the locals have pushed enough about these 2 locations that are very close to each other. And the island, that's a known place that I've seen that location, and there's just all kinds of trash on it, tarps caught up in the trees, plastic bags, pieces of metal, roofing, tin, siding, just all kinds of stuff. You think it up, and it's probably in there and in that pile. And just don't understand why it's not been searched yet. So folks, I appreciate you joining us here today on Deep River Farm. I hope everybody has a blessed day. We're going to get back to it. Got to get some stuff done. And they tearing up Jack, I think, down at the coast with this king tide and all this rain, and they're having some coastal flooding down there. And probably some more houses are going to wash on off in the Atlantic. There was, I heard 13 more, but I'm not sure of that. But that's what the rumor is at the restaurant. 13 more houses likely to become the victim into the Atlantic. Well, folks, have a blessed day. We'll see you on the next video.